The developers have decided to transition to bi-weekly updates.
Over the past 2 months, the game has been noticeably losing players. Pet Simulator X came out in July of 2021 and pretty much instantly became a front page game. It was the biggest simulator and they actually maintained over 100,000 players until they went inactive in May 2022 for some reason and didn't really update all the way until October, except for an anniversary event. I'm not too sure why they went on a break for so many months, but when they came back in October of 2022, they started updating again, and pretty much all the way until April of 2023, they maintained over 100,000 players, but then the game kinda started dying again. I already did a video about Pet Simulator X dying, like right when the bi-weekly update released, where instead of doing updates every single week, they're doing updates every other week, but now we're more than a month into that, and you can really see the decline. Sorry for the sad intro, but today we're gonna go into exactly how Pet Simulator X basically killed their game, and how I think it seems to be a marketing strategy. If that doesn't really make sense, let me explain, but first I need to explain the Pet Simulator X business model. Basically, there's nothing to do once you reach the end of the game, but it's almost impossible to reach the end without being pay to win, so they have to balance everything out with events, which is why starting a few months ago, or basically since I started playing, I noticed almost every 1 in 3 updates was an event update, which basically gave non-pay to win players the chance to get pretty decent pets. But still a variety of new features are being added, like the daycare, and they're still having some innovative updates like the fruit update, and whenever they had an event, they didn't just add only the event, they actually added some pretty cool stuff too. Like I remember the April Fool's update, there was a secret passcode room, a whole event area, fruit, like there was so much in the April Fool's update, and that was when they were doing updates literally every single week. And a lot of people were also hyped up about leaks. Anyone doing leak videos that had pretty appealing videos could easily get like 100,000 views the first day. RBXG Leaks was gaining so many followers on Twitter, and everyone was hyped up over the next really cool thing they were adding in the next update. Pet Simulator X Life was good. Most YouTubers never really had a shortage of content because there was enough in the update to do videos until maybe Monday or Tuesday, and then you could kind of do whatever you want Wednesday. Then the leaks started coming out Thursday. We could start doing videos on stuff like that, and then the update would come out and it would be a perfect loop. You could kind of just do the same thing every week but with a new update, and whenever it came out, a lot of players would play it, and by the time the update would get boring, leaks for the next update were just right around the corner. Pet Simulator X basically had the perfect game model where as long as their updates were good, players would just keep coming back again and again. The April Fool's update was probably the best time in recent Pet Simulator X history. They're actually doing pretty unique things and adding a lot to the game. So right after the April Fool's update, we had the Easter update, 2 events in a row, and the Easter update was also really easy to get stuff in. So then right after that, we had the Diamond Mine, which kind of messed up the economy, but it was still a completely new feature, and a lot of people were hyped about it. In the following update, they added quests, so these boards in pretty much every single area, and I'd say that was also a great update, even though it was originally 7,500 for a pet slot, and now it's 2,500, so anyone that bought it before kind of just lost 5,000 points for literally no reason. Also, before I forget, do you want a free huge pet? Just like the video, subscribe, and comment your Roblox username. Here's last video's winner. I choose one random winner every video. But pretty much every week, a completely new feature came out, and a lot of them actually help free-to-play players, like the free-to-play events and somewhat the quests, even though they're pretty hard to do unless you own some game passes, especially the hatching quests, because you can hatch 8 at once with game passes. But still, they were adding new things free-to-play players could participate in, and pretty much every update was something completely new that a lot of people wanted to grind. After that was the Evolving Huges update, which was kinda mid. Like, not that many people were interested in Evolving Huges, and even though it takes 5 Huges to make an Evolved Huges are not worth anywhere near 5 times the value of the Huges you have to evolve, so you basically just lose a whole bunch of value every time you evolve your Huges. But they really made up for it next update by adding a big mascot you you can get just by joining the group. Adding free huges like that you have to grind for, or that are just pretty easy to get, make a lot of people want to play the game. So of course I was super hyped, and right after that, they added the trading terminal. I mean, even though the Evolve machine wasn't that great, I'm pretty sure that was the Cinco de Mayo update, so there's a lot more content in that update than just the Evolve machine. Then the Jelly update, which was basically part 2 of the Cinco de Mayo event, so even though they added a new exclusive egg and stuff, they still added like some new areas. Still pretty great update. Then the final update, I was still during weekly updates, was the Lucky Block World update. So yeah, that had the trading terminal, that had some lucky pets, some new huges you could get, and a lot of people didn't really enjoy that update too much, mainly because getting Lucky Block coins was so slow for some reason. Like, they made it where it barely gives you any, so you can't even open that many eggs. And the Lucky Blocks weren't really Lucky Blocks, there was like no sense of luck to them. It's just like you open them and got coins, and every now and then everyone would get pets. And the way a lot of people got huge pets is for a little bit it glitched where whenever you opened a Lucky Block, you got 8 of the super lucky egg, so that event or whatever was just kind of messy, and I don't think it was scaled that well, so that just marks the decline. That's when they announced at the very bottom that they've had large updates every week, and that they're going to transition to bi-weekly updates. So it says they're going to be able to develop more well thought out mechanics and features, and that there's going to be better content basically, but all that really happened after that was the Dog World update, which I'd say has less content than when they were doing weekly updates. I mean, think about it. It's kind of like the Kawaii World update, basically a new world, but in the Kawaii World, they basically did everything that was in Dog World, but then they added a whole bunch of new features and fixed a whole bunch of things. So the Kawaii World update was basically bigger than the Dog World update. I mean, the only really big thing where they changed a whole bunch of stuff, mainly dealing with the trading terminal and DLC, and they changed some numbers, and there's a new exclusive egg, but that was pretty much as big or even smaller, pretty much all of the weekly updates. So the first update, after they had double the time to make it, didn't really seem too great. Then they had a new event with 3 areas, which this was the last update, and they actually added a new area at the end of Dog World, but it still is pretty much like the same size or smaller than weekly updates once again. And they said that with that extra time they'd think things out, but me personally, I don't think giving 25,000 popsicle currency, which anyone with slightly decent pets can get in seconds, is really too well thought out. Like, I can take out 10 safari dogs right now, put them on this, and I already got 5,000 coins. I can put them on this thing at the end, and look, I already got like 28,000 coins, 102,000, 216,000, and I don't even own the strongest pet in the game. As long as you have slightly decent pets, you can get around those numbers, but you barely get any popsicle coins from this, you barely get any boosts from this, you can get way more boosts from the daycare. Nothing in this is really balanced, except I'd say the diamonds are pretty good, and it's nice how you get eggs, but everything else is like way too low. I'd say they should multiply all the popsicle rewards by like either 100 or 1,000, to be honest. Most people AFKing overnight can get at least 100 billion, which is literally 1,000 times more than the best one. Even if you don't have that many good pets, you can still probably get at least 10 billion AFKing overnight. So I guess not well thought out and super slow updates is the main thing killing Pet Simulator X right now. You probably noticed that Pet Simulator X still has a reasonable amount of players, 56k, but it is such a dead game that a new game came out, and I'd say it's pretty decently made. Pet Sim X is definitely a lot more detailed, but this game literally has like 85k players right now, and it is not too complicated of a simulator. It already passed Pet Sim X by far, but looking at the past 90 days on Google Trends, as you can see, April 1st was really hyped up, and all the updates preceding it that I mentioned earlier in this video, where they added new features like quests, the Easter event, all of that was pretty much around 80% as popular as the April Fool's update, so they were doing good. But ever since bi-weekly updates started, they've really declined, and it's been a lot lower on average, and the updates barely make the game spike up at all. Like, if you've noticed the amount of players, Pet Simulator X used to go up to like 600k players, even up to 1 million players on the time I started, and now they barely get like 200 200 to 300,000 players at the max each update, and that's just people trying to get hype gifts for free. Because right after the update happens, no one really cares, and they go back down below 100k. So yeah, you got this chart of it going down so much in the last 90 days. And this chart showing the daily players at 2 p.m. every day over the past 3 months. Like, you can see, okay, 2 p.m. is about 8 hours after the update happens. So around April, they always had usually over 100k each update after the update. Like, later in the day, they still had over 100k, but now they barely had 100k players last update, and that was like a huge summer event. Well, not really that huge, but look at how much it's dropped over the past 3 months. That is pretty surprising. I could go on all day about a whole bunch of small things that are probably killing the game, but the main thing is probably just the updates. Used to, during weekly updates, it seemed like they were a lot more well thought out, and even if there were glitches, they usually fix them within a day. Like, recently, I don't know if you guys heard about it. You probably did, since a lot of YouTubers are doing videos on it, but there was a hack or glitch or something in the diamond mine that they didn't fix for days, and some people ended up getting tens of trillions of gems. Most of the people abusing it had like a whole bunch of alts and stuff, so Titanic's all rose above 10 trillion, the economy was going terribly. I was just chilling playing PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds on Steam because I didn't really feel like playing Pet Simulator X. I think 2 or 3 days after the economy was already ruined, they finally fixed it. Like, me personally, I would have just shut down the diamond mine if I was the developers, because if there's a huge glitch that allows people to get tens of trillions of diamonds, I don't think it's a good idea for the diamond mine to be open, and the economy is still pretty bad because of it. Pretty much everyone that did it kind of got banned, so a lot of accounts with a lot of diamonds ended up getting banned, but the damage is already done. A lot of stuff is already super expensive, and it is probably not going back anytime soon. But the second main issue, besides the updates, are, well, it's kind of related to the updates, but the YouTubers. So right now, pretty much everyone on Pet Simulator X YouTube is experiencing a huge loss in views. Like, I'm not trying to be mean to anyone. Even I'm losing views because Pet Sim X is dying. I just want to straight up mention the numbers, but you can see even Nightfox started doing videos on other games, and his Pet Sim X videos, which he's only really doing a video like once every other day or once every few days, are getting usually like a couple 100,000. But if we go back to like a while ago in Pet Sim X, pretty sure he basically used to do daily videos. He tried some variety content, but most of his Pet Simulator X videos, like, I just remember I used to get recommended his videos a lot, and he'd always get around 400k the first day. But he is pretty much the biggest Pet Sim X YouTuber, which is why he still gets pretty good views. But as you can see, Numerous always got like 200k to 300k, and his videos blew up a lot. But right now, besides like a really cool video of trading something super expensive, like 53k 1 day ago, 46k 3 days ago, 74k 5 days ago, like, and 43k 6 days ago, like, those are way lower numbers, especially within the last week or two. So he hasn't been uploading daily anymore either. And then Eyesight's doing like 5 videos a month right now. Pretty sure these 2 videos did good for him right when they came out, but 32k 6 days ago, like, especially within the last week or two, is when Pet Sim X has just been dying like super hard. You can see it on the charts, like, it is crashing. Looking at Nightfox's weekly views, I mean, this is pretty much the same chart for every Pet Sim X YouTuber right now. Around April, everything was going really good and just increasing over time, but then everything dropped drastically within like the past few weeks or like a month or two. Those are pretty much all of the best examples I have right now of Pet Simulator X's current player count. Keep in mind, Pet Simulator X is marked as all ages, so even though it has 56k players, a lot of them are probably like really like probably on YouTube Kids instead of YouTube. Because if we look at Google Trends, which is basically I think YouTube and Google searches, even though they were around 50k players a month ago, and now they're around like 40k to 45k players, the amount of people searching for Pet Simulator X and Pet Sim X content has declined a lot. The only way to fix this would probably be, I mean, if they wanted to hire more developers and do weekly updates again instead of bi-weekly updates, then that would probably work. But here's what I was talking about at the beginning, why I think this is just a marketing scheme. I've done a lot of videos recently on Pet Simulator 4 leaks, and I think it's safe to say that they are totally working on Pet Simulator Simulator 4 right now. Like, I have noticed such a trend. Every single bi-weekly update week, the first week, there are a lot of Pet Simulator 4 leaks, and then it sometimes even spans into the beginning of the second week. Then the second week has some Pet Simulator X leaks, so I'm pretty sure they're just working on Pet Simulator 4 for the first week. So the reason this is a marketing strategy is because if they kill Pet Simulator X and make it boring, then everyone's gonna hop over to Pet Simulator 4, because if they kept doing weekly updates in Pet Sim X, not only would they not have as much time to work on Pet Sim 4, but then they'd basically have like a competing game with their own game. And it'd be a lot easier just to kill off one game and focus all attention on the new one, which has more chance of higher players and higher success, to continue doing weekly updates on a game which already has a lot of content and was slowly dying. Okay, it was slowly dying before they started bi-weekly updates, but just slowly. It started rapidly dying after bi-weekly updates though, so if they release a new game, I bet a lot of Pet Sim X players are gonna get on it. They're probably gonna stop early updating Pet Sim X that much, and everyone's just gonna be playing the new game. So I think they're just preparing for Pet Simulator 4. I mean, every time I mention it, I talk about this, but as always, it is still being updated literally every single day. So I think for now, we're just gonna have to wait out the release on that, and Pet Sim X is just gonna continue to die. The best thing we can hope for is for Pet Simulator 4 to come out soon. I'm pretty hyped for it, even though a lot of the stuff in it so far seems the exact same to Pet Simulator X, like most of the menus. There are a few new features in the game, and some of the menus are gonna look a bit different, so I feel like it's gonna be different enough where it doesn't feel like an exact copy of Pet Simulator X, and unique enough where it's probably gonna be a pretty fun game, so I'm just waiting for that to release, I guess. I'm also working on my own game right now, not Pet Simulator related, it's a tower defense game. I showed it in a lot of my videos. You guys probably already know about that if you watched the end of my videos. Make sure to subscribe with the notifications on, like the video, join the Discord server linked in the description, do everything else linked in the description, but thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.